Hello. It's time to multiply mixed numbers. Now, mixed numbers are numbers that have a whole number and a fraction. Okay, so in order to multiply mixed numbers, you must change the mixed numbers to improper fractions. So in order to do that, we are going to multiply this whole number times the denominator. So we're going to do 3 times 2, and then we are going to add the numerator plus 1. Okay? 3 times 2 plus 1, and that is going to be over the denominator. Okay? Now, when we get really good at it, we can do this quickly and we don't necessarily have to write it out. So we're going to do 3 times 2, which is 6, plus 1, which is 7. So we're going to get 7/2 times 4 times 5, which is 20, plus 1, which is 21. And then I keep the denominator. Okay, so now we have to go back to how do we multiply fractions? We multiply fractions by multiplying the top two numbers, and that's my answer. So 7 times 21 would be 147, and we divide that by 2 times 5, which is 10. So I end up with 147 divided by 10, or over 10. Now, remember we talked about in one of the previous videos how we always want to reduce our fractions. So I'm going to divide the bottom number into the top number. So 10 goes into 147 14 times with 7 left over. So I'm just kind of putting it in that little corner there. Okay, so that's my final answer. 14 and 7/10. That's called reducing the fraction or simplifying the fraction. So that's how we do multiplying mixed numbers. Okay, I'm going to do another one for you here. And let's see, how about 3 2/5 times 1 5/6? Okay, so we are going to multiply this out. And first thing we have to do is change these to improper fractions. So 3 times 5 is 15, plus 2 is 17. Keep the denominator. 1 times 6 is 6, plus 5 is 11. Keep the denominator. So this is equal to 17/5. This is equal to 11/6. Okay, and now I can multiply across. So 17 times 11 is 187. And 6 times 5 is 30. So now what we're going to do is we are going to simplify that fraction. We're going to divide 30 into 180, and I get 6 with 7 left over. So that's 6 and 7/30. So that is my final answer. So mixed numbers change to improper fraction, multiply. Now, there are some more different types of fractions, things that we can do that we need to add in here, okay? So sometimes you're going to end up with fractions that have common multiples, okay? So say we did our work and we end up with something like this, okay? This is what we're going to multiply out. So I can reduce the fractions before I multiply, okay? And what we call this is cross cancel. And what we're actually doing is we're canceling the numbers, but we're dividing the top and the bottom by the same thing. So divide the top, which is the numerator, and bottom by the same number. So top, which would be numerator, bottom, which would be denominator. Okay, so if I do that, if I divide by 3 on the top and I divide by 3 on the bottom, I've actually divided by 3 over 3, which is equal to 1. So we're dividing by 1 when we do that. And that's why we can do it. Because if we divide 1 into a fraction, then we have an equivalent fraction, which we learned way back at the beginning of my videos. Okay, so we can have an equivalent fraction if we multiply the top and bottom by the same number, and if we divide the top and bottom by the same number, because we're actually dividing or multiplying by 1. So we do this by we call it cross canceling, but we say, okay, look at 3 and 24. 3 goes into 3 evenly, 3 goes into 24 evenly. So 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 24 8 times. 9 goes into 9 once, 9 goes into 18 twice. Now, if I cross cancel all of the common factors, my final answer should be reduced all the way. So 2 times 8 is 16. 16 over 1, which is 16. Any number over 1 is that number. Okay, so if I do the cross canceling correctly and I divide out all the common factors, then like I said, I'll end up with a number that is already reduced. Now, if you did not see, so for example, if I saw the 3, but I didn't realize the 9, I would do 18 times 8 and then 1 times 9, and I would get a larger fraction, and then I reduce the fraction, and I will still end up with the right answer. So if I reduce the fractions before I multiply, or if I reduce the fraction after I multiply, you will end up with the same answer, okay? So this process right here is not absolutely necessary, but it makes the multiplication a lot easier, okay? When you get to your final answer, you can reduce then, but like I said, this process makes your reducing a lot easier. Now, what if I had a lot of fractions to multiply, like 1 3/4 times 2 1/5 times 1/3 equals, okay? Say if I had more than 2, I can do that with multiplication. So I still have to change these to improper fractions. So 4 times 1 is 4, 7 over 4 times 11 over 5 times 1 over 3. Do I see any common factors, top and bottom? No. So I just multiply across. 77, 20 times 3 is 60. 60 goes into 77 once with 17 left over, and I am done. So you can do it with more than one. Now, if I do have common factors in the top and bottom, I can cross cancel anywhere as long as it's one top, one bottom. Okay, so I guess that's the end of this video. This video was about multiplying mixed numbers. And if you have any questions, you can post below. Let me know if you have any questions. The next video, I am going to share how to do complex fractions. So look for the next video, complex fractions coming up. Thank you for watching.